Lecture 2: Philippine Habitat Types. Where can you find wildlife species? Amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals inhabit mostly terrestrial habitats, especially forested areas, like this one in Mount Mantalingahan, Palawan, or this mangrove forest in Siargao. They may also be found in open areas such as brushland or scrubland, such as this one. Grasslands also offer habitats for wildlife, like this one on the left, Mount Pulag, and on the right, a grazing area for our tamaraws in Mount Iglitbaco in Mindoro. Caves are known as roosting sites of bats. The openings leading to caves vary. A cave is defined as a natural opening in solid rock with areas of complete darkness and larger than a few millimeters in diameter. We were able to enter this cave in Ilocos Norte, but unfortunately disturbed the bats there. Aquatic habitats for wildlife, especially amphibians and reptiles, include freshwater bodies such as creeks, lakes, rivers, and streams. Forests are the main habitats of wildlife, especially our endemic species. But what constitutes a forest? According to the Forest Management Bureau, or FMB, a forest is a land with an area of more than 0.5 hectare and tree crown cover of more than 10%. The trees should have a minimum height of 5 meters at maturity in situ. There are two types, the closed forest and the open forest. Closed forests have trees of various stories and undergrowth which cover a high proportion of the ground. Open forests have continuous vegetation cover in which tree crown cover is more than 10%. A forest could also be a young natural stand and all other plantations established for forestry purposes. If you want to know more about forests, visit the Forest Management Bureau or FMB website of DENR. You can click on the statistics to see the data on forest cover. You can also click the program and projects, and you will see there the various projects such as National Greening Program, National Forest Protection Program, and others. It is unfortunate that the Philippines has suffered one of the highest rates of deforestation anywhere in the world, which has reduced many formerly forest areas to wasteland. Why has the Philippines been deforested? It's because of the quality of our trees. The hardwood of tropical rainforests are valued for their quality, used to build homes, as light posts, as railroad ties, and a multitude of other uses. Now you hardly see wooden houses, even posts and railroad ties are replaced by concrete. Wood has become expensive. Aside from this, our tropical rainforests are the main source for new agricultural land. The ever-growing population need to be fed and nourished. 80% of new agricultural land come from intact and disturbed forests. Moreover, majority of land for agriculture and tree plantation expansion comes from forests, woodlands, and savannas, and not from previously cleared areas. This is in Mount Banahaw de Lucban, showing kamote plantation at the periphery of the Mount Banahaw de Lucban protected landscape. This agricultural encroachment is common practice even in protected areas. According to Lasco et al. 2001, the major land cover types in terms of aerial coverage are upland farms, secondary forests, protected forests, brushlands and grasslands, and tree plantations. The two most dominant types of secondary forests are post-extraction secondary forests and Sweden-fallow secondary forests. Post-extraction forests stem from legal and illegal logging and are the main source of wood products of the country. Sweden-fallow secondary forests are forests regenerating largely through natural processes in woody fallows of Sweden agriculture for the purpose of food production by farmers and/or communities. Dr. Fernando of the College of Forestry and Natural Resources of UPLB has identified 12 types of forest formations in the Philippines. These are the tropical lowland evergreen rainforest, tropical lower montane rainforest, tropical upper montane rainforest, or what we call mossy forest, tropical subalpine forest, forest over limestone, forest over ultramafic rocks, beech forest, mangrove forest, pit swamp forest, freshwater swamp forest, tropical semi-evergreen rainforest, and tropical moist deciduous forest. How many of these have you ventured in? So let's take a look at some of these forest formations. Mangrove forests occur in shallow waters, in secluded coastal bays and coves, and of course, the trees here can tolerate saline conditions. This photo shows one of the largest mangrove forests in the Philippines, which is found in Del Carmen, Siargao Island. I'm sure you're familiar with pine forests. They are found at more than 1,000 meters in the Cordillera Mountains. The Benguet pine is the dominant tree, and they spread over grassland that covers slopes. Regular fires during the dry season maintain balance of pines and grassland. In places where limestone outcrops cover extensive areas, natural erosion has given rise to a beautiful landscape referred to as karst, dominated by exposed rocks, often with white cliffs and ridges, and riddled with small to large caves. The forest here, usually called limestone forest or karst forest, is dominated by the mulave tree, which tends to grow in the few pockets of deep soil with clumps of bamboo, palms, and small leguminous trees and figs occupying much of the remaining land. Platymantis bayani, described in 2009, which is endemic to Samar Island, occurs in primary and secondary growth forest on karst substrate. Forest over ultramafic rocks is a unique forest type growing on ultramafic or heavy metal-rich soils. These soils are rich in certain minerals such as nickel, magnesium, and iron, but very poor in others such as silica, potassium, calcium, and phosphorus. Because the latter minerals are essential nutrients for many plants, places with ultra-basic soils tend to have sparse, slow-growing plants, and many of the plant species are adopted to this habitat and are rare or absent elsewhere. This may be found in Palawan, Isabela, Zambales, Romblon, Dinagat, and Siargao Island, and just recently in Surigao and Samar area. The lowland evergreen rainforest is familiar to us because we have this in Mount Makiling. This forest type is dominated by dense dipterocarps, with trees reaching heights of 45 to 65 meters tall and creating canopy layers. The tropical semi-evergreen forest is found in regions with very distinct and strong dry season, found mostly on the western side of the Philippines, like in Palawan, Zambales, Bataan, and Mindoro. The tropical moist deciduous forest is found in seasonally drier climates. It is found in the western side of Luzon, Palawan, and Mindoro. The trees are unbuttressed with low branching and forms an uneven low canopy of less than 30 meters. The lower montane rainforest is typically found from 750 to 1,500 meters above sea level. The trees are shorter in stature with less undergrowth. Epiphytes and vines, particularly pandans, and moss cover the tree branches. The decreased temperature plus increase in elevation slows decomposition of debris, and the forest floor becomes thick with humus. The upper montane or mossy rainforest, or sometimes also referred to as cloud forest, has a dense growth of mosses, liverworts, and ferns. The trees are characterized as short, often with gnarled trunks and branches. Trees can reach 8 meters in protected spots, but only 2 to 3 meters in height on ridge tops. Temperature, on average, declines with increasing elevation. Along with a change in temperature comes a change in precipitation, and rainfall usually increases with increasing elevation also. This too combine to give rise to 3 types of rainforests: the lowland, lower montane, and upper montane or mossy forest. Each has a unique set of flora and fauna. So rainfall is the most important climatic element, and rainfall distribution throughout the country varies. You can visit the Pag-asa website to see the monthly rainfall forecasts. It says that rainfall condition during this month will be mostly near normal to a few areas with below or above normal. You can also see the expected weather systems here, like LPAs and tropical cyclones. For wildlife, we are interested in the 4 climate types based on rainfall distribution. We have types 1, 2, 3, and 4. Type 1 has 2 pronounced seasons, dry from November to April and wet the rest of the year. Type 2 has no dry season and a very pronounced rainfall from November to January. In type 3, the seasons are not very pronounced and it is relatively dry in November to April and wet the rest of the year. In type 4, rainfall is evenly distributed throughout the year. Knowing the climate type in the area of research is important so you can schedule when your wet and dry season samplings will be done.